Brakti Yahushai. How is the Most High God and Yahushai is who the world and he calls Jesus the Christ. I want to give double honors to the apostles and to the elders in Great Millstone who move with the wealth of the Spirit, teaching His word and believing His word to the best of their ability. Lord, willing the Most High continue to put in their spirit to endure. Almighty Shalom to the hopeful elect scattered four corners of the earth, in and out of congregations, teaching His word and believing His word to the best of their ability. Lord, willing the Most High continue to put in their spirit to endure. And to the wives and the single sisters that's believers of His word, Lord, willing the Most High continue to put in their spirit to pursue to be a loving and silent woman. And Lord, willing the Most High have mercy on the other brother and sister that's not in faith. You know, this is inspired by 1 Corinthians the 15th chapter, verse 9 to 11. This is Paul, and I'm gonna read it in the NLT. Make it plain, straight to the point. Verse 9 to 11. It says, "For I am the least of all the apostles. In fact, I am not even worthy to be called an apostle after the way I persecuted the Most High's church. But whatever I am now, it is all because the Most High poured out His special favor on me, and not without result, for I have worked harder than any of the other apostles. Yet it is not I, but the Most High who worketh through me by His grace. So it makes no difference whether I preach or they preach, for we all preach the same message that you have already believed." You know, we got to understand that we teach of Hamashiach Yahushua, and everything that comes out that brothers is bringing, if it's sense or milk, dark sayings, parables, or prophecies, we have to be singing the same song. Because if you listen to a choir or you listen to the sound in the background, if you hear that, every tune flows with one another. You know, it flows. This is Philippians chapter 2. If I can get to it. Verse 2 to 8. It says, "Fulfill ye my joy that ye be like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord and one mind." And this could be directed towards me. This is directed towards all Israel. But of course I'm gonna say it to myself because I labor with brothers and I want to make sure we singing the same thing. I'm singing the same thing they singing the same thing we singing, because this is something serious. You know, I'm trying to get to the blue letter so we can get that word. We want to make sure we understand being one, being on one accord, speaking one mind. Right? Philippians chapter 2, we started at verse 2. Be on one accord. Just waiting because my phone is a little slow. Be like-minded. We can go into like-minded. One accord of one mind. Let's go to one accord. This is one accord.
Strong's G 4861. Sum suchas. Sum suchas.
Sumsukos. And the Strong's biblical usage is similar in sentiment, like-minded. So we would be the same if we were sentiment to somebody, especially if it goes to what it says in the biblical usage. When you're on one accord, together with soul, self, inner self, feelings, desires, and affections, right? So the word refers to being united in spirit. And if we go to First Corinthians chapter 2, and we understand to understand the Lord, you got to have the spirit of the Most High. You can't have this wisdom of man. So if we all got the spirit of the Most High, when we both speak in the same wisdom, we're going to sing the same song. Some brothers might have eloquent words, but the same breakdown, the same understanding is the same. But if you look at something that's spiritual and I say, hey, no, this is figurative, we're not speaking one mind. So just to confirm, Paul is speaking one mind, let alone if we look at all the prophets, because the Lord said he's been speaking to us through the prophets. Let's go to Luke. Let's go to Luke. Try to make this real quick. Go to Luke 1, chapter 1, verse 70. It says, and as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. So all the way from then to Yahushai and so on, the men of the Lord been on this earth. Because when we go to Ecclesiastes 4:16, the Lord said, basically, all the nations of old is still here. So we will have to make it make sense. All the prophets and the apostles that was really children born of the Spirit, not a child that was born of the flesh, they were speaking the same song to make sure we were getting understanding. In the beginning, Paul said, I was persecuting the Most High's church. So he wasn't singing the same song until the Lord poured that favor, and that's a different frequency. And just to go back to a video that I have uploaded, since, a lot of things is acting crazy and messed up the video, but it's still uploading. Did a video on the fragrance. When we teaching that same like understanding, that of Hamashiach Yahushai, which is he comes in the whole volume of the Bible. If you teaching that correctly, you're gonna come with a different fragrance. It's fire that we bringing out the same thing I just brought out in a video, another lesson. But Lord willing, y'all catch that. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, reading verse 14 to 16. I'm reading NLT. I'm gonna read this one in the NLT too. You know what I'm saying? It just smack you plain. It says, but thank the Most High, he has made us his captive and continues to lead us along in Hamashiach's triumphal procession. Now he uses us to spread the knowledge of Hamashiach everywhere. While we're spreading the word of Hamashiach everywhere, we are all speaking the same thing. So it's like if we was to trade places, like that movie Trading Places, and you go where I'm teaching, I go where you teaching. If we are one mind, it should be very fluently we're teaching the same thing. And this is how people, I don't know how you get the understanding of the Old Testament and New Testament different when they're all teaching the same thing, but now it's more clear of Yahushai, right? It says now he uses us to spread the knowledge of Hamashiach everywhere like a sweet perfume. So we're spreading the ministry of Yahushai, the gospel of Yahushai everywhere, and it's a sweet smell. Our lives are a Mashiach-like fragrance rising up to the Most High. So, and that goes back to 1 John chapter 2, verse 6. We ought to move like him. If we abide in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, like Yahushai abides in Yahweh, Yahushai is gonna come with a fragrance of Yahweh. And only true believers of Yahweh is going to know who Yahushai is because he comes in the fragrance. Our lives are a Hamashiach-like fragrance rising up to the Most High. But this fragrance is perceived differently by those who are being saved and by those who are perishing. To those who are perishing, we are a dreadful smell of death and doom. But to those who are being saved, we are a life-giving perfume. And who is adequate for such a task as this? To speak and teach the same thing. Because if we're not teaching the same thing, that means the fragrance is two different smells. This right here is frankincense. This right here is black Kenneth Cole. This right here is that yeah. That That for Golden Versace. You feel me? These are three different fragrances. So at the end of the day, if I come in a building, I'm gonna smell like that. Somebody else, they wearing this. But if they put this on and put this on, ooh, dang, I like this smell. And then the same person that put this on and you just smell them, they're gonna smell totally different because one put both of them on and one just put this on. We gotta understand when this ministry come out, you want to cleave to ones that's singing the same song. But for the brothers that is laboring, this is for brothers that's laboring. You know, we are supposed to be singing the same song. Don't make it too hard for yourself. I'm not trying to make it hard for you. You know, we all hold on to Paul's letters and words so much. But do you understand that we should be singing the same song? It's okay. But I ain't definitely not making this too long. So back again, this is Philippians chapter 2, verse 2. Fulfill ye my joy that ye be like minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind. Salaki, I'm thinking I might get you another. Let me make sure. Okay. Verse 3, it says, let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. So that's the humble way to go. You low yourself. You know, Luke chapter 9, verse 23. If we want to follow Yahushua, we have to pick up our cross, which the persecution, the long suffering, that cup that the Most High gonna put in for you, your portion. You know, we're the same reflection as Yahushua. Just like when Moses was doing holding the burden of Israel, we hold the burden of Israel. Every time you labor, you not doing that for yourself. You doing it for your people, you know? And you want other people to esteem you, right? And that's like somebody like, man, yo, man, the Lord moving you. Oh, man, you doing a good job. Instead of, man, I'm doing this. Because somebody that really have a lowly in heart is like, I need to do better. I'm not doing good enough, right? This is First John chapter 3, verse 16. Hereby perceive we the love of the Most High, because He laid down His life for us. We ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. You have to be lowly in heart to lay yourself down for your brethren. That's not a huge task. I mean, that's not a light task. That's not something light. That's something heavy. You know, Yahushua, what did he do? He laid his life down for his friend. Who is his friend? The children of Abraham, the one that walk with faith, you know, that walk by faith. Forgot even where I was going now. You know how that thing be flowing. Just be flowing. This St. John 15, verse 12. It says, this is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you, right? It says, greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. And ye are my friends if ye do whatsoever I command you. You know, all Israel as a collective, you know, the righteous is friends of the Lord, you know, because what he say in Mark 3:35, whoever do the will of my father is my brother, mother, and sister, you know. But being direct, the men of the Lord is the ones that's teaching. These are the ones that's making sure the understanding, the breakdowns, speech, especially the characteristics. If you're dealing with depression, brothers doing lessons on that. Brothers doing lessons on medicine. They doing health. They bringing out scriptures of the day. They bringing out the law, because that goes with Judges 5 and 11, rehearsing the righteous acts, going back to reading the marvelous acts and works of the Lord, the law of the Most High, and then applying them in your life. Like, this ministry is a continuous thing for a man, let alone when a woman understand her role. It's the same flow, just like 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3. You know, Hamashiach is the head of man, and the Most High is the head of Hamashiach. and the man is the head of woman. Boom, 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 boom. And the woman is basically over the children. You know, she basically ruled the children, even though men rule the whole house. You know, it's order. So at the end of the day, just like when people say the Most High and Yahweh Shai and the Spirit is one, what is being taught is one, but they are three different. They have their three different own deities. You know, the Most High is the Most High, Yahweh Shai is Yahweh Shai, and the Holy Spirit is the Holy Spirit. You got the Ancient of Days, and you got the Alpha and Omega, and you got the Rakah Quadash, you know, the Holy Spirit. And they all work on one accord. The same thing that the Lord is teaching us through scriptures and what Paul is teaching is the same being on an accord as St. John the 15th chapter and being on accord with the Most High through his son Yahushai, because who rules the man? Yahushai. So we all three, from Yahweh, Yahushai to man, the song should be the same. And then from the man all the way to the children should be the same. Because if I die, little man or whatever man should be taken after another man, because it should be the same understanding, right? Lord willing, that was beautiful. Verse 4, Philippians chapter 2, verse 4. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others, right? And that just goes into like having like a righteous heart. You know, you can have the abundance of riches like David, you know, but then for your fellow brothers and sisters, if we really was to glimpse back in the ancient times, David had his Israelite servants or ones that was lesser than him, soldiers, regular civilians. We were looking good. In the time of David and Solomon, we wasn't in servitude. You know what I'm saying? But we was looking good. It didn't matter if you was the low class and high class, even the lower class, even the servants, they was looking like they was rich. You know? So we really should be esteeming one another, man. You know, you should be looking at to what others have. That's where you had that heart for the poor. You know, you had that heart for a brother that might have lower stature for you. You take your time out to sharpen his sword. You know, verse 5 it says, "Let this mind be in you, which also in Hamashiach Yahushai, who being in the form of the Most High," which we can go to Colossians, the first chapter, the 15th verse, "that it not robbery to be equal with the Most High." And none of us, I'm not equal with Yahushai. None of you, especially brothers saying that Yahushai or David, man, you are not even, hey, humble yourself. Galatians 6 and 3, you know, the see rags in this flesh, and you always have to renew yourself because your spirit is still always tainted because of this flesh, right? Just like how this flesh absorbs lotion, this flesh absorbs, you know, the things that's going in the world. All we got to do is see it, and next thing you know, your flesh want that. You know, that's why you do things that you ought not to do. You know, but verse 7 it says, "But made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. And being found in fashion of a man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross." Right? And you got to know, he even took on that curse. You know, when a man is hung on a cross, that's a curse. Let alone we can trace back in history who was always hung on a tree, just left to rot. You know, in our law, if somebody left hanging, they up for a point in time, just like Joshua did, and he cut them off from being hung, and did what he did with their bodies, and they remain. But anybody that's just left out and hung, that was a curse unto a man. Uh, Dang, where was I going? Hold on, let me make sure. Where the heck was I at? That just had me ready. I was excited. Um, what precept was I thinking of? I was thinking of something. What was it? Oh yeah. No. So this Saint John, No. This is Luke, the 9th chapter, verse 23. You know, because if Yahushua did it, I just read uh 1 John, what is it? Oh yeah, 1 John chapter 3, verse 16. We ought to lay ourselves down for our brothers and sisters. We read St. John the 15th chapter, when he said he laid himself down for his friends. And then when you go to 1 John chapter 2, verse 6, we ought to walk like how Yahushua walked. So this is Luke chapter 9, verse 23. It says, and he said to them all, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Yahushua lowered himself. This man just leaped off the throne and came down here and had to be born into this dumb flesh, man. This weak flesh, you know, to come fulfill what was written of him. Like he had to fulfill his role. Like Sam said, everybody had a script. And when we go to Sirach 39:21, every creation had a purpose, you know? And some creations do this, and then later on they got to do that. Like Yahushua, he created everything the Lord wanted with the other powers. And he did something else. Then he did something else. The working for the Lord does it. You don't stop. That's why he said, occupy till I come. Right? So we want to be singing the same song. You want it to be flowing. Um, Hold on. I'm about to end this live. I don't really want it to be too long. Let me make sure this is it. Let me make sure this is it. Okay, I'm gonna read. This is I think I'm gonna be player about this one. I'm gonna read this in the KJV and in the NLT. You know, this is Romans the 15th chapter, verse 1 to 6. I'm gonna read it first in the KJV. It says, "We then are strong ought to bear the infirmities of the weak, and not to please ourselves, man. You're not in this for your Ray crackheads, but the ones that don't know who they is. Now it is a Pookie and Ray and Tanika and Shaliqua that never heard this word yet. So we out there for them because they could be the elect. A John, a Kevin, a Jordan. You don't know. Just like my brother Yarmayan just did, you know, the little follow-up Lammy after camp. How brothers just walked up and they seen something and then they was intrigued and they had open ears to hear the word. We are out here for the sheep that hear the Lord's voice through his mouthpiece. We ain't nothing. Like what Paul say? You know, he said he basically was doing more than the other apostles. But it don't matter if he preach and I preach. We all singing the same song. It don't matter how fire you is. It don't matter if you doing more videos than Kuta Kinte or Ray Johnson. Is if we teaching the same thing, let's get this, let's get it done. You know? And we not doing it for ourselves. You know? It says, let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification. You know? And let's get that word for edification. You know? It's lucky I'm trying to let it load. Let me see. Okay, there we go. Right here.
Strong's G 3619. Oikadame. Oikadame.
So edification going to edifying, building, confirmation, figuratively, a structure, right? So edifying, when you go into the biblical usage, the act of building, building up, the metaphor is edify, which goes into edification. Another one is the act of one who promotes another's growth in Christian wisdom, piety, happiness, and holiness. A building, the thing built. Now, It's a word that I've been trying to use a lot. A name I would have, named my, my king, my little man, Benaiah, which means he built up. Yahweh built up, and that's the whole point of this ministry, to build up the tabernacles of David. To edify them with the same song. If especially just like what Paul said, if he preach and if I preach, as long as we singing the same song. So say if I can't make it out to go teach, and other brothers they still going out, they're going to be teaching the same thing I'm teaching. It makes the sheep flock to it. You see, you caught that word. You see that was fire. You know what I'm saying? It makes the sheep flock to it when we all saying the same. That's why you got to tell them everybody's not singing the same thing. Because soon as you open up a child's mind, they go everywhere. Soon as you give them candy, every candy they want to try, their mind is open. So make sure who you point at. That's another thing. When you out giving like information to brothers too, because I used to do it too. Or you can go to him, you can go to him. You give them, hey, this who I'm watching. Hey, and I got my page, blah 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 blah. And then you could tell whatever spirit they got going on, if they too contentious, but if they listening, they should be watching the same people you watching and the brothers you labor with. But if they like too contentious, if they like that rah-rah, they like, oh, I want to be an Israelite, but I don't want to be too serious. I want to be a celebrity. Or I want to get on the stage. I want to have a rap career, or whatever the heck it is. You point them to the other way because you want to be around serious people. Paul was serious. The Lord was not playing with no busybody. And if he was, he got exposed. Saying it whisperly, Judas, you know. Then you got people that might deny the Lord. They really in this, but they might really, really deny the Lord. But let's just finish this off. Uh, First, Romans chapter 15, verse 3. Even Hamashiach pleased not himself, but as it is written, the reproach of them that reproach thee fell on me. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. You might understand what this is going into because that's the whole point. To know about Yahushua, you have to understand the history before he came. You got to be able to find them speaking about Hamashiach Yahushua before he arrives. And if you don't see it, the Lord might not be dealing with you, because you might be blind. Verse 5, it says, now the Most High of patience and constellation grant you to be like-minded one towards another according to Hamashiach Yahushua. So we got to be on one accord with one another, speaking the same thing. Because if we separate and you teaching word, I'm teaching word, and then you saying something else, I'm saying something else, and then say if out of nowhere, because it could be is a small world. You come across the person they was teaching, they came across you, and then you start, then anybody, wait, hold on. The other person I was speaking to, they did not say that. Like, whoa, hold on. And then they go over to who you was teaching, and now it's like the water you poured for the plant to grow. It's like it's kind of hard, or you gave us like you feed it in and they trying to take it out, So this is why you want to make sure you labor with people that singing the same song. If they're not singing the same song, don't sing along with them, This is the last verse 6, that ye may with one mind and one mouth glorify the Most High, even the Father our Lord Yahushua Hamashiach Yahushua. So I'm gonna just show you something of how you would glorify the Lord with one mouth, right? This is not all the way glorifying the Lord with one mouth, but I'm just trying to show you. We usually do this at camp all the time.
Let's give all honor and praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Kakwadash.
Let's show that one more time. Lord willing, y'all catch it.
On the unicorn and everybody else that's walking and just doing whatever they're doing. But first and foremost, before we get into anything, let's give all honor and praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem Kakwadash. Yahweh the Most High God.
Lord willing, you got it. Lord willing, you got it. To be one song is to sound and sing the same thing. If I can do it, you can do it. If you can do it, I damn sure can do it. Testing, testing. This is just a test. Testing, testing. This is just a test. If you know it's a test, you should be studying so you can pass. Shalom.